Joining me now, former Green Beret and policy advisor to the White House and Pentagon, Florida Congressman Mike Waltz. Mike, let's just start with the story I saw today that caught my eye. This is about it's a sort of more detailed and full version of something we've been talking about, which is the connection between Russia and China on this, which is a huge factor in how we think about it strategically. And a report that is, we've heard before that the Russians, Putin specifically, that Xi Jinping asked Putin to wait until after the Olympics and so on. This suggests an even closer level of coordination. The Russians asking specifically the Chinese regime for military assistance, economic assistance, and we don't yet know of any response from the Chinese regime. What do you make of what's going on there?
Yeah. Well, I think in the big picture, we're seeing an alignment of the world autocracies, of the world's dictatorships are presenting a united front. Russia, China, both are involved in the negotiations with Iran, unbelievably, with the Russians as the intermediary. North Korea, who just launched yet another strategic ballistic missile, and all of them even aligned and starting to align with the Taliban superstate, the terrorist superstate that is in Afghanistan now. So, big picture, this is incredibly concerning. In the sense of China supporting Russia, we've seen them obviously doing it diplomatically at both the UN and on the world stage in terms of their propaganda and the information wars. Economically, they are absolutely serving as a backdoor to the sanctions. And even when, for example, Visa, MasterCard, American Express pulled out of Russia, Chinese banks have stepped in. The question is, what will they do militarily? What will the Chinese do militarily? Jake Sullivan is going to meet with a senior Politburo member responsible for Chinese foreign affairs. And let me just ask, and I hope he's listening, what he shouldn't do is be lectured to by the Chinese Communist Party like they were in Alaska on U.S. soil, share intelligence like they did that the Chinese then shared with the Russians. And what we need to do is to stop taking this passive reactive approach. As General Keane was saying,
that's exactly right.
We have to be prepared to escalate, to force Russia and China to de-escalate. And right now, we haven't seen the White House willing to do that. And when you create that space, particularly when it comes to WMD, when you're not clear about exactly what the consequences are going to be and draw very clear red lines, Putin and Xi will continue to eat your lunch.
So we don't have too much time. It's a long discussion, but just a very quick response. I'm going to address this later. There are people who are, you hear a lot of this week, that the Zelensky should take the deal that Putin has offered. We need to offer Putin an off-ramp that allows him to claim victory at home, and that's the way out of this. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't think Putin's ever been serious about negotiations. At this point, his grip on power depends on victory here. I do think Zelensky has made somewhat of a concession in saying he's rethinking NATO, but that's not enough for Putin. He wants at least the Black Sea, Kyiv, a change in government, and the eastern part of Ukraine at a minimum, and he is all in. What we need to be doing is to quit dithering and wringing our hands, provide him the MiGs, provide him the S-300 Russian air defense systems, provide him a lot more arms than what we're doing. We've been slow walking it, and it's just not enough of what we're giving the Ukrainians. And if they can bog Russia down into a quagmire, meanwhile their economy is collapsing, we need to help the Ukrainians fight for themselves, not push them into the old saying of he's going to die on his feet rather than survive on his knees. And I think that's a heroic approach that we absolutely should support.
All right, Congressman Mike Waltz, great to see you tonight. Thanks so much.